Every single day I get DMs from tons of people who want to get started in Rent2Rent but don't actually know where to begin. So what I've done is I've created a video walkthrough which basically guides you on how to find properties that are going to be profitable using the Rent2Rent model. So follow along and it'll teach you exactly how to stack up a deal to make sure that you're choosing a property that's going to make you money.
Okay, so stacking up a rent-to-rent deal. The first place you want to start is on Rightmove. You've got a couple of other options as well, so Zoopla, OpenRent, Gumtree, basically anywhere that you can find rental properties, okay? Okay, so let's have a look, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an area that I'm unfamiliar with here, right? So I live in Harrogate, and we have rent-to-rent properties in Leeds and across Yorkshire, but I'm going to choose somewhere different. So let's actually just go for Bath, which is the pre-filled area here. So we're going to Bath, we're going for properties to rent. And let's check out properties within a mile of the city centre. There's no particular property type that we're after, no particular number of bedrooms. However, in my experience, Rent2Rent works really great with sort of 2 bedrooms plus. So I'm going to set the minimum to 2 bedrooms. You could search for 1 beds, but just after sort of spending 5 years in the industry, I know that 2 beds perform quite well. So let's have a look at some of these properties here. So we've got a really beautiful one here. It's a nice, lovely cottage. This seems quite expensive, in my opinion. 2,725 for a 3-bed cottage. I don't know Bath well at all, but it does look like there's some pricey places. So let's have a look through here. We can probably get a bit of an idea of what a good property looks like or the pricing of them. Okay, so it seems like Bath's quite an expensive area. Again, I don't know this area at all. So let's have a look at this one. This one looks central based on it being sort of terraced and an apartment. Okay, so it's a little bit dated, but it's got a stunning outdoor area. I don't know if that's a shared garden or not, but it looks like it's a private garden. It comes straight out of the property. So you've got a nice little private garden, which is a big plus, especially for a central property. I mean, this here, if we just tidied it up a little bit, put some nice new garden furniture in, that could literally be the poster, the main thumbnail for an Airbnb unit. That would sell it. But ultimately, it looks all right. So this is, if we go back, this is the 2-bedroom, I assume. 3-bedroom. Okay, so it's a 3-bed. It's at 1,725 per month, and it looks all right. As I say, it's a bit dated, but it's got character, and with a little bit of paint and a few sort of decorative pieces, I think we could make this look really nice. So not a massive investment. It looks like it comes furnished. If it's got like this, the beds in and stuff, part furnished. Okay, so we can deal with that. It's also got, there's a no deposit option. That's a fantastic. That's brilliant actually. Just to start off with, we're not having to put up half the amount of capital, because if there was a deposit that we needed to pay, which would be pretty much the same as this 1,700, then that's just shy of $2,000 that's going into the investment. So garden, permit parking, part furnished. So this is looking like a good deal already. We check out the map. Let's have a look. Wow. Okay, so this looks really central. This looks absolutely perfect. You've got Waitrose, you've got theatre here. Yeah, it looks like it would be a really good area. I don't know where the train station. No, the train station's down here, so I don't know how far that is, but it looks really central. This is a good place to start, okay? So yeah, we found property here. Now, what do we know about the Bath rent-to-rent market or the Airbnb market in Bath? I know absolutely nothing right now. At this point in time, I don't know anything about the Airbnb market. I don't know anyone who has an Airbnb there, but I know that Bath is a nice area. I believe it's a spa town, and it's got beautiful architecture. It's got university as well. I do know that just from knowing. So let's have a look. So if we go to AirDNA, now I've got the tab open up here. AirDNA is a free tool. You can pay for it, but they have this free Airbnb calculator. Now, the way that this works is AirDNA will link into Airbnb, and it will look at every single property that Airbnb has in Bath. So all we need to do is type in the address. So we'll just put in Bath. We could hone in a little bit more maybe if BA1. That makes things easier. So it is really central then. So if we go BA1, Bath BA1, perfect. So this is actually 3 bedrooms. See how many bathrooms it's got. It's got 2 bathrooms. That's great. And with a 3-bed, it's going to accommodate 6 people. Let's assume. So calculate earning potential. Okay, so on the looks of things, it's okay. It is okay. So we've got an average daily rate. This is what this stands for here. ADR. Average daily rate is £175. So that means that properties in this area are getting on average £175 a night, which is good. Now the occupancy that it's pushing out is 43%. That seems quite low. I appreciate that. It does. However, the thing that we've got to consider with AirDNA is because this looks at the entire market, it unfortunately brings in a lot of bad data as well. So what's happening to these numbers is they'll be getting pushed down because, quite frankly, there's a lot of rubbish on the market. There's a lot of people with Airbnbs that don't actually know how to make successful Airbnbs, which will be dragging these numbers down. So realistically, £175 might not actually be the case. It might be a lot higher. It might be £250 for a decent 3-bed, especially in this area. Or 43% occupancy might also not be the best. Now, we can actually see here on this little map, this is quite a neat little tool, that there's only 4 properties coming up in this area. So based on this, there's 4 3-bed properties with 2 bathrooms that can accommodate 6 people. And it's given us this information off of 4, right? That's not good. And you can even see here, like there's one that looks like quite a professional 3-bed that's averaging £246 a day. Another one here, 184. So it's basically taking these averages from 4 properties. So it's not the best data, and it's telling us that because its confidence is low. So it's not the best data. What might be better is if we look at 2-bedders, there'll probably be more 2-beds with 4 guests. Let's see what these numbers look like. Okay, so that looks a lot better. Yeah, so we've got a lot more options here. However, BA1, this sort of area here doesn't seem to have a lot, but it's all sort of around here. So this postcode must be quite big, quite wide out of the city centre. So there's a lot more 2-beds here, which means there's a lot more data available. So there's 23 in total. That's given us an average daily rate of 161, but 64% occupancy. So better data, and these numbers will obviously be skewed. We can't completely trust this because we're looking at 3-bed. But this is basically what data we have to work with, right? So based on these figures and taking them with a pinch of salt, this property is definitely something that I'd want to explore and buy. But what do we do? How do we figure out, how can we stack these numbers up to know if this deal is going to be worth our time, right? And worth investing in? Well, what we can do is we can head over to our deal stacker. So this is a calculator that I've built just whilst we were scaling up, and I wanted to figure out deals quickly instead of having to get a calculator out quite literally every single time. So what I've done here is I'll go through it and explain how this calculator works. So up here, we've got the average daily rate. Of course, we've got that figure over here. It's £161. Now, this is for a 2-bed, right? And we're looking at 3-bed. But I wonder if we just run these numbers based on it being a 2-bed. So if we pop in here, £161 as the average daily rate. It then works out your profit margin. So that's what we're interested in. Not interested in revenue, we're interested in profit margin. It works out your profit margin based on occupancy. So I've written it down here, right? So 50% occupancy, which is low, is 15 nights, 16% is 18 nights, 70% is 21, and 8% is 24. I don't really ever bother looking up to 80%. We want to know that the numbers around sort of 70% are good, 8% is just kind of there as a nice to have, because realistically, people don't do 100% occupancy for 12 months of the year. That just doesn't work unless you get a very nice unicorn booking. It can happen, trust me, it can happen, but you'll usually be averaging across the 12 months that sort of 70 to 80%, and that's what we want to work out as to what our profit margin is going to be. Okay, so The next thing that we need to do is understand our monthly running costs, right? So going back to it, we're looking at a 1725 rent. So we're going to put that in here. So 1725 is our monthly rent, okay? And then that totals up down here. As you can see, the profit margin is already dropping down. So council tax, I don't know what a council tax is in this particular area. Sometimes you can get the council tax banding on here. It doesn't look like it's been listed, but it's one thing that we can call the agent up, or just by doing a little bit of digging on Google, you can usually figure these things out. I don't know, so I'm just going to guess, and I'll go on the higher end with it being Bath. I imagine council tax is a little bit higher than the north. We'll go for £250. Electricity, we'll go at 100, and I'm just using sort of averages across the UK. So we're looking at around 2,155 right now. Contents insurance, you're looking at about 20 quid for an apartment this size. Consumables, these are things like toilet roll, cleaning products, just general things that your guests are going to use up. But this will have a low cost, so you're probably looking at 30 quid a month. And Wi-Fi or broadband, again, you're probably looking at about £30. So what does this look like? Okay, so basically, we've now got what our genuine profit margin is going to be. These figures are good, okay? So I like to use 50% occupancy as your break-even point. If you are not making enough money to cover your monthly costs at break-even at 50% occupancy, then the deal's not worth it. It's absolutely not worth it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so we can get this bigger. So yeah, 50% occupancy, that's 15 nights, so half of the month or just over half. We're looking at £180 of profit. Now, I know that number's not going to blow you away. However, it means that you've got room for error here. You know, there's extra security in this deal, so that's good. So 60%, and if we go back to AirDNA, which told us that occupancy on a 2-bed in this area is at 64%, and again, take that with a pinch of salt. That's still quite high for AirDNA, and that's good. We're looking at around £600 to £700 in profit. So this is great. This is a good number. It's looking better. So at 70%, we're looking at 1,100, and at 80%, we're looking at 1,600. Now, how do you get a more profitable Airbnb? Well, it goes into a lot more and a lot of stuff that we talk about in our academy and we teach our mentees. But some things that you can do to help that is staging. You want to make sure that the property is furnished and staged correctly, and also have a photographer, professional photographer, to take those images once it's staged so that you are marketing that property as best it possibly can be. At the end of the day, you want to be showing off your property on Airbnb. Gone are the days where people can just list their property on Airbnb, any old property with crappy furniture, and they'll make £1,000 a month. It's not about that anymore. What we want to be doing is operating at the very top, the top 5 or 10% echelon of good Airbnbs. That's where we want to be playing, and that's where the money's made, right? So to be achieving these sort of numbers of 8% and above, then we want to be having the best property. Okay, so that's how we can achieve that, and that is in your control, right? That's another thing. We've already got with this property. We've already got a fantastic property with character. We've got a garden, and we've got on-street parking, and yeah, it's already lending itself to us to make it great. We can take control of that now and make it better, right? So that's the positive of this. You know, it looks absolutely stunning. So and it's central as well. You know, super central. So going back to the numbers. So that's that. So we've got us monthly costs, we've got us profit margins, we understand it's a good deal. What else can we do? Well, we can take it a stretch further and just understand the entire return on investment, how long it's going to take for us to get our money back out of this deal. So how do we do that? Well, we just do this. So that, of course, first month's rent, that is 1725. Deposit is 0 because there's no deposit on this already. We can certainly use that as a negotiation tool. Furniture, well, it's a 3-bed property, but it is already part furnished. So let's say this is going to cost us around £5,000 in furniture, and then refurb and decorating. We're probably looking around about £1,500 for a lick of paint, some artwork, some decoration, right, just to make it feel homely and cozy and inviting. So that brings us a total of £8,225. Now, it might seem like a lot. That's actually not a bad investment for a property of this size, a 3-bed in this sort of area. It's a great property, and I'm sure it's going to make its money back. So we're probably looking around here at mid. So the way that this works is this return on investment is per month. Okay, so it's a month. How many months it's basically going to take us based on the occupancy. So low is 50%, which of course is going to take 4 or 5 months, but we're not aiming for break even really. So we're looking at mid to very high here. So based on a mid occupancy at 6%, we're looking at 12 months. Now that is fantastic. The fact that we're going to get our money out of this deal completely in 12 months and then onto pure profit is brilliant. And that's not even a really high achieving number. That high, which is basically 70%, we're looking at 7 months, and very high. If you manage to get this deal at the start of summer, let's say, for example, just before the summer season, you're looking at 5 months to get your money back out. Now, that is absolutely amazing. This is a fantastic deal. I'll be straight on to the letting agent and booking in a viewing. And what we can also do is we can do an extra layer of research. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up Airbnb, and we're actually just going to search for properties in Bath. So I'm going to choose Bath. We'll just go for flexible. So pick a weekend. How many guests? Well, it's a 3-bed, so we're going to go for 6 guests. So we're going to search this area, and we're actually going to see what the average nightly rate is. Okay, so we've got a few dotted around this area. Now remember, this is sort of around the area where the property is. So let's just go for this one here. Wow, so this one looks like a great property. Just get this opened up. So it looks like a fantastic property. It's really well shot, so you can tell it's professional photography, and yeah, it just presents itself so well. It's got a little bit of an outdoor space as well, you can see here, no bigger than what the property that we're looking at has. So yeah, this looks like a great property. And I think what's important here is understanding what this is going to look like per night. So if we look at these figures here, so we're in for 700, so £721 for 2 nights, which means it's at £360. Okay, £360 per night. So if we click on through here, it's going to break it down for us. So yeah, so 720, so £360. You would minus the Airbnb fee off of this, right? So if I just do a quick calculation, so 360 minus Airbnb takes 15%. So 360 minus the 15% that Airbnb takes, you're looking at £306. Okay, so if we head over to the deal stacker right now, we pop in here £306 before Airbnb's fees. We don't want to take those into consideration. The numbers are explosive. So I take this with a pinch of salt, right? Because this property looks absolutely fantastic. It's also a weekend that we're looking. So what we can do is we can change these to a weekday. So it does drop down quite a bit. Let's see what these look like here. So 587, so that's 293.50 per night. So again, if we deduct the 15% off of that, 293 minus 15% Airbnb takes, you're looking at 250. Okay, so 250 a night. And this is based off us looking at just one property. Of course, we could go into it a little bit more and do some more in-depth research. But again, 250 a night, you're looking at £1,500 profit at 50% occupancy. So this deal is unbelievable. Again, I will be straight onto the letting agent, and I'll be trying to book a viewing, asking if they accept company let. So yeah, so that, guys, is how we stack up a deal. You can do it a lot quicker than this, but I've just obviously spoke through it. But yeah, it's that simple. To get this calculator, we give it away for free. So anyone can download this. It's just on a Google Sheet, or you can download it on an Excel format. I'll put the link up on how to get that and access to the free course that we have. But that is basically the way that you can figure out if a Rent2Rent deal is going to work. Hopefully that's been super helpful. Don't forget to give us a follow and let us know in the comments if there's any other content around this sort of stuff that you guys might find interesting. Cheers.